Hi, I'm Michael Zuckerman, President and CEO of Zuckerman Honickman. We're so happy to be the presenting sponsor for the 2020 BevNet Best of Awards. We're equally as happy that so many of our customer base has made it to the final round, so good luck to all of you. ZH has decades of experience helping the beverage industry find the best solutions for their packaging needs. We're not just a distributor, but we're a coach to thousands of brands that are trying to navigate the difficult world of RTD beverage. We work with brands of all shapes, all sizes, all scales, so please let us know how ZH can best help you.
It's my distinct honor to name Danny Stepper, the co-founder and CEO of LA Libations, as the winner of this year's BevNet Person of the Year. Danny, in my experience, has always had an exceptional vision of what it means to be an entrepreneur, both within and outside the beverage industry, and his work in what has been an exceptionally critical period for his company in the past year shows the fruit of his determination and his efficiency. It's fair to say that as late as the fall of 2019, the future of LA Libations was uncertain due to the end of its relationship with longtime corporate partner Coca-Cola Company. But Danny has led LA Libations through a remarkable rebound in 2020, spurred by a new partnership with Molson Coors Brewing Company. LA Libations has entered the Molson Coors system like a Swiss Army knife, helping to create a new set of non-alcoholic products and partnerships that allow the company's beer distributors to onboard high-profile national products like La Colombe and rising stars like Zen Water, while also encouraging Danny to roll the dice in innovative categories. Danny has also managed to fuse his passion for entertainment and movies with his beverage roots, fostering the growth of new products Don't Quit and Oro with associates from the world of television, movies, and action sports. It's hard for anyone who knows LA Libations to mention Danny without his partners, Pat Bolden and Dino Sarti. But it's also hard not to notice how hard Danny has fought to keep that partnership viable through the constant search for new ways for the three of them to have an impact on the business that they built together. That determination and optimism, combined with an outstanding set of relationships, recognition of talent, an unmatched willingness to create partnerships and make connections for people from all walks of life. One of the most interesting partnerships Danny worked on this year was creating a deal between Molson Coors and Coke to develop a hard seltzer under the Coke-owned Topo Chico brand. It's a remarkable example of an entrepreneur being willing to do what it takes for the benefit of all partners, regardless of past bruises. And it's for that incredible year in which LA Libations has come back from those bruises and created an exciting new set of opportunities, both for itself and for its partners, that made Danny such an easy choice for Person of the Year. Danny, congratulations. It would be great if you can talk to us a little bit about the journey you've been on over the past year or so.
So the last year or so, I think for all of us feels like about 10 years. But, first and foremost, I'm really grateful to BevNet for this honor. It's a strange year to get recognized, but I can't even go any further without saying that there is no Person of the Year without my business partners, as you mentioned, Jeff, Dino Sardi and Pat Bolden. There is no LA Libations or Person of the Year without Pete Marino and Molson Coors. This is truly a lot of people responsible for this. So, the past year has been, really trying, but I got to be honest with you, 2019 was actually a lot harder for us than 2020 was. We had a pivot in our strategic relationship and priorities. And, we just kept fighting. And it's just amazing the year that the team has had. And I'm so proud of our company. And I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. And it's a pleasure to be able to give you this award, or at least notify you. I think we're going to mail it. But tell us about what the meaning is of what you've built, not just over the past year, but over the past 10 with this company.
Yeah. So, Dino and Pat and I, we started wearing a uniform for the Coke bottler here in LA. And that, showing up at the store at 4 a.m, meeting the truck, fighting for space, fighting for displays, begging for displays, That's still very much in our DNA of what we still do today. Granted, the business is a lot more complex, but it's been an absolute journey. There's no doubt about it. This year, was really interesting in that, we forged this partnership with Molson Coors, and the timing was really incredible for where they were at in the company. And it's just amazing to find such a great fit. We've done a lot of deals with a lot of strategics, but the fit here is just so unique. Our cultures, a lot of people don't understand Molson Coors culture. I sure didn't before we did the deal, but now I very much understand it. It's very much an underdog culture. The people there care so much, so deeply about the business and about the position the company is and where they're taking it. So that's very much fitting with us. We have a chip on our shoulder. We always have. We have an underdog spirit for sure. And, we've never been hungrier, humbler, more paranoid, more afraid of failing, all those things than right now. So the irony of that while we're getting awarded is not lost on me at all.
It's a long road to realize the final outcome of a lot of the lines you guys have in the water right now. One of the things that I think is so interesting is that you're now under a mandate to produce a lot more products than you have in the past. It's not as much about facilitating for products that are brought into Coke. There's still a lot of that, but there's also, you guys have to be innovators as well as incubators. How's that balance working out for you?
So creativity has always been a core value for us as an organization. Creativity in how we go to business, creativity in how we approach retailers. And we've been very fortunate that not only have we got to learn from the very best entrepreneurs out there, we've got to work alongside them. Legends like Lance Collins and Mike Rapoli and Jake Steinfeld. And, what I've learned, even in listening to Mike Rapoli speak earlier this week at BevNet Live, is there anybody that is more in it and more motivated? Like he's just, it never turns off. And so we've been able to learn from that. We've had a front row seat for that, and it's been amazing. And yeah, we've pivoted from kind of being a services organization to really a brand creation organization. And that's really what we love to do. And we've got some great things coming, but it's not just creating brands. We've created businesses. We've created our Southern California incubator called SIP, which has got tons of momentum. We've created Relentless as a need that we saw in the marketplace, and that's been really important. So the fact that we're able to approach a brand from cradle to consumer has been definitely a big shift for us this year.
So I wonder, the pivot that you guys had to go through over the past year or so, year and a half, what's it taught you, if anything, about the best ways to help the brands that you work with?
So it's really interesting. In 2018, when we were probably at the lowest of lows, quite frankly, I got to meet a guy named Jake Steinfeld, and he's become a really great friend, a mentor, and a coach. Incredible entrepreneur, sold over $1 billion of fitness equipment in his life. And he has this, what he calls his Bible verse, his mantra, which is stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. And I got to tell you, we needed to hear that when we heard it. We've not only created a brand around it, but it is a core value of our company, along with relentless hustle, innovative entrepreneurship, radical ownership. Don't quit is something that every entrepreneur, especially in 2020, needs to live by.
What's harder, bringing to life a movie or a brand?
It depends. A good movie or a bad movie? A bad movie's really easy to make, like Goal 3. wish I could take my name off that one. But there are actually a ton of similarities between beverage and movies. People don't realize it, but there's a lot of creativity involved in both. They both take a ton of capital. You need distribution for both. You need to market both. You need a great management team. But I will tell you, in our industry of beverage, I'll take the people over and over versus the other industry. There's a lot of really decent, hardworking, passionate, caring people in the beverage business. It's a different breed on the other side, and I'll take this one all day.
You bring up people, and again, there are 3 founders to LA Libations. Tell us about the relationship that y'all have and what has happened since that low point.
So I think we've become stronger and more unified. I think we've, look, there is no LA Libations without Pat Bolden. There is no LA Libations without Dino Sardi, Adam Loris, Bonnie Shaw, Wade, Robert Macias. I can go on and on. And our team has really come together because we had to. I mean, we were dead. It would not look like it does today without Pete Marino and Molson Coors. And that trial, you don't see it when you're going through it, but when you come out the other side, it's really made us stronger. And as far as Dino and Pat and I, we're best friends. We finish each other's sentences. We all, it's way more than professional. It's very personal for the 3 of us. And I think we all understand what we're supposed to be doing. And yeah, I'm the lead singer, but without the music, it would never be anywhere close to what it is.
Last question. You brought up the fact that you guys started while you were wearing the uniforms for Coke. I mean, where are you in terms of building the dream now?
I think the journey is the dream. And if you look at the journey for us, we're probably starting the second act. I mean, we're just getting started, to be honest. And this is a very special award. And don't get me wrong, I'm very honored and flattered, but this is by no means a victory lap in any way, shape, or form. This is recognition, I think, more for being alive than it is for dominating. But having said that, we have so much great stuff coming. We're going to make some announcements. I mean, we've made a ton of announcements this year. We've done a lot of great things this year, but it literally is tip of the iceberg for what we've got coming.
Hey, it's 2020. I think we all deserve an award for staying alive.
That's right.
But this is because you did it, and in many ways, you did it with grace and talent and just grit. And we're all very proud of you.
I don't know about the grace and talent part, but I definitely am proud of the grit, that we've displayed. And once again, I couldn't be more thankful for you guys and what you do in the industry. I'm very thankful for our partnerships, whether it's with Bob Gangord at KDP, of course, with Pete and Gavin at Molson Coors. And of course, we wouldn't be what we are without our retail partners, right? Jack Sinclair at Sprouts, Tom Burkemper at Walgreens, Jack Stout at 7-Eleven. The fact that they've given us an emerging brand platform and they still care to take our calls weekly, that's a big, big deal for us.
Well, you name the relationships. And again, I think over the years, you've tied so many people together. So I'm glad we get to recognize that point at which they all meet. And congratulations again.
Thank you from all of us at LA Libations. We really appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And by now, you've heard the good news. You've seen it on BevNet. Oatly has been named the winner of BevNet's Brand of the Year 2020. And we're so excited to welcome Mike Messersmith, who's the president of North America at Oatly, to accept the award on their behalf. Mike, congratulations. Fantastic year for Oatly.
Thank you so much. It is a huge honor and definitely my privilege to be able to accept this award on behalf of our team here in the US, globally back in Sweden. We think the world of BevNet and all of our partners there. And so the recognition and everything is just incredible. We're so grateful, humbled by it, and just really, really cool.
Well, it's well deserved, and 2020 really seemed to be the year where Oatly and sort of oat milk in general really went from something that was considered maybe an extra addition to the basket to something that was absolutely essential. We saw that kind of behavior really take hold in the pandemic, especially. So, just can you tell me what were the real conditions and factors that really helped you guys grow this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's been kind of part of our narrative and journey since we launched 4 years ago that demand and excitement behind this brand has always managed to pace ahead of where we even thought it would be. We're in the middle, obviously, of just kind of a broader movement within plant-based foods and consumer awareness and demand that's kind of changing food in general. I think every part of the grocery store, everywhere I go and I shop and I eat and I buy coffee, you're seeing this plant-based movement that people want more sustainability minded options. They want different ingredients. And so I think that's been a key part of how we've done this. But, this year, obviously, in so many ways, not what anyone expected, but gosh, there were some of these news already. You're in the middle of trying to navigate your company and your brand through all these challenges. And then you're seeing news reports of, the top items in terms of COVID, scan sales, and there's toilet paper and hand sanitizer and like oat milk. And you're like, oh my gosh, how is that on there? So yeah, I mean, it's continued to just exceed expectations for our brand. I think category growth overall. It's just something that's really exciting to be a part of.
Certainly. And you alluded to it there. I mean, the demand was certainly there for oat milk, really strong this year. I mean, what was the biggest challenge that you guys faced, just to meet that demand, and how did you sort of, pivot to meet it?
Yeah, I mean, I think our commitment of how do we, scale, process, and quality and manufacturing has always been part of our journey. I mean, again, we're only 4 years into this journey in the US, a little bit less than that. I mean, it feels like yesterday that we were, one in a handful of kind of trailblazing coffee shops, only, and we were selling dozens of cases of product every month. It really wasn't massive. And I was sharing with you earlier, like I can remember vividly standing at Expo East 2017 at our very first trade show, talking with Brad Avery and introducing just even the idea of oat milk at the time. And so, I think for us, you have this year has been, and probably part of what makes even this recognition even sweeter for our team is that, you have all the normal growth, somewhat normal scale growth challenges of a company, people and processes and, distribution, all those things compounded with all these areas that we just totally didn't expect, changes in our go-to-market strategy. Like how do we keep our manufacturing partners and our plant employees safe in the middle of, kind of unprecedented global pandemic. So it's been all the more challenging, but I think that is not, pretty par for the course for how Oatly has grown. And I think only makes it even more rewarding.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that. Outside of the driving the sort of business performance and sales on the shelf, what are some of the things that you guys sort of did on the back end? Whether it's production, hiring, just internal company culture. What are some of the things that you guys did to really, support all the growth that you're seeing just in terms of dollar sales?
Yeah, and I think that was an area where we entered into this year, I think like so many companies, with an idea of what we wanted to do this year, our people plan, our manufacturing plan, our sales growth objectives, innovation. And I can remember vividly, the first week in March coming off of, oh gosh, like we're not going to Expo West. What a bummer. We're a New York City based company. We started having a lot of folks within our team, unfortunately, even coming down sick, even before anyone even knew what this was like. And you're sitting here being like, oh boy, is this all gonna, like, we had such high ambitions, like, with all these plans in front of us, how much is this gonna change? And I think in kind of classic adaptable mode, I mean, we came together as a team and, looked at, if you have temporary changes in your coffee shop and on-premise channel, how are you shifting to retail partners? How are you elevating and changing procedures on the manufacturing and the logistics side? And then I think for me, the part that, as challenging this has been, the part that's honestly been the most rewarding and surprisingly kind of sweetest that I remember from it is, we're a growing team. I mean, it wasn't too long ago, there were 10 people at the company, and now we have more than 150. And so we were thinking all along of like, how do we bridge culture and communication and people that are local, people that are remote, people that have been here since the beginning, people that are brand new to the team. And we actually used this remote, and you think like, wow, that will be even harder with everybody working remotely. But we found ways to kind of come together, honestly, like even like almost every day together to find those touch points during the day to bring people, talk about where we're at in the business, things that are great, things that are challenging, and also just hear people's journeys of how they got to this company. What do they do what are their families like? What do they do outside of work? And we've actually been able to use this as a moment to bridge together and knit the culture, I think, even stronger than we were when we started. And that only lets us go faster and I think execute at an even higher level than where we were. And so through this, being able to, of course, navigate the strategic business challenges, but also, bridge our organization and provide opportunities for leadership and culture growth, even in the midst of, these really kind of, unexpected circumstances, has been just like really surprisingly exceptional. And even as hard as it's been like one of my favorite chapters of Oatly, which I would have never said 8 months ago that I would even imagine that would be the case. So it's been really great. And I think, getting recognition like this again, kind of validates a lot of that hard work that we put into continuing to execute at a really high level.
Well, we talked about the journey that you guys have had over the last 4 years. We talked a minute before we came on about how, you guys were a rising star back in 2018 in our awards and now sort of graduated now to that next level. Yeah. I wonder, being a leading brand in this space and helping to sort of create the space overall in the US and now having lots of competition in that space, has that changed the way that you guys think about business strategy now sort of being in that leading position, now sort of getting more recognition, or is it sort of staying the course and continuing to do the things that have made you successful? Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those really tough questions because the human nature of being, in this industry, I mean, you have to be hardwired to want to win and compete and, and grind it out. And so you see all these competitors coming in, especially at times when you're doing the best you can with stuff. And you can see that as a threat. On the other side, the whole company was founded close to 30 years ago on an idea that we need to provide, nutritious plant-based options from a sustainability and climate perspective, and to provide great options relative to dairy-based kind of sources. And so, in that sense, the idea that some of these larger dairy-based companies are now wanting to diversify into oat and plant-based broad, options, like that's a great thing for all of us. It's a great thing for the category. It's a great thing for consumers. It's a great thing for the planet. And so you really have to kind of tamp down your own personal competitive spirit in a lot of these. And one, just like focus on the things you can control. There's so much, I mean, there's enough things in this world to lose sleep over at night, and things I can't control of what other companies are going to do. Like, we're going to focus on what we do and what we try to do the best. And also just keep in mind that, like, we think it's a great thing for everybody to have more, delicious plant-based offerings. We love our product and we think we do it really well. We want to keep doing more of, our oat milks and other offerings that we have and make a difference from a sustainability and climate standpoint. Well, looking ahead to next year, I mean, that's just the reporter in me. I'm always asking what's coming next. Yeah. But, what do you guys sort of have in store for innovation wise, or just sort of how are you looking to maybe just expand just the vision of the company and sort of what areas it works in as we move forward?
Yeah, I mean, even with all the challenges of this year, I mean, we were able to launch a couple of platforms that we are really excited about. I mean, we've been expanding on frozen desserts, and we saw actually a ton of appetite for that. I know as people wanted to take their mind off of their day to day, but we saw some really exciting growth there. This year, we launched a platform of oat gurts this summer, and it was a tough year for innovation and getting those commercialized. And how do you work on that with co-packers and get them into retailers? But those have been working really well too. So we have a lot of expansion to do there. And then we've also been working, I mean, there's building a factory and expanding manufacturing capacity is difficult under the best of circumstances. We've been grinding on a factory in Utah this whole year that has been a Herculean effort, made even more challenging by COVID, and especially for our employees, our partners there on the ground in Ogden. And so we're really close on that. And so that will be a big step forward for our organization, our global supply chain footprint. We've been putting a ton of thought and investment and strategy into that is going to really enable us to do some exciting things here in the US. And we are just a part of a global organization with partners in Europe and in Asia, where we can actually start to even support them in some ways, which could be really interesting. So those would be the two things that I think there's a lot of areas that we're excited about, but being able to continue on some of the innovation platform launches we managed to get out this year that we've seen some really good early returns on, and then being able to finally put some finishing touches and start turning that Ogden facility loose as we get into next year is going to be a big step for our company.
Well, this is, of course, an award for brand of the year, but I kind of want to wrap this up with a personal question. We have a lot of beverage entrepreneurs watching right now. This has obviously been a difficult year. Do you have any personal advice about how you sort of were able to continue to be effective and do your job well as a brand leader, while also taking care of, obviously, what is a time of a lot of personal stress?
Yeah, I think that sometimes there can be this, and it probably actually is reinforced by some of the elevation of founder culture and CEO culture of like these oracles and fonts of wisdom. Again, I found myself, I'm sitting at the end of my dining room table where I've been for the past 8 months, right? I'm looking over at the chair I was sitting in, the second week of March. I was like, oh man, like, what are we going to do here? And in that moment, I was like, if I'm feeling that way and the world feels like it's falling apart around us, how might the other people on my team be feeling, right? Like, where's their uncertainty, the insecurity, like, what's the plan? And sometimes you can feel like, well, I can't share it with them if I don't have all the answers, right? Or I don't have that level of certainty. And I think that's where the leadership opportunity of being able to find strength through transparency and openness of, we don't have all the answers. Here's where we're at. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it one step at a time. Can see where we're going in the vision, but like how we navigate that, we might have to figure out as we go. And I think that piece of sometimes the pressure of these roles can feel like you can't say anything unless you have all the answers. But your team is going to look to you, and for you to be able to find, even if the answer is, I don't know, we're going to figure it out together. To have the confidence to be able to put that out there can be how you move forward. Start small, start somewhere, one step at a time, and keep it going, even in the face of business changes, societal changes, customer changes. There's one certainty, is it's never going to be perfect. Stuff will always go wrong. How you adapt to it and how you lead through it, I think, is the hallmark of what's going to allow companies to be successful. And so that's what we've tried to do. Made lots of mistakes along the way, and just keep it going.
Well, certainly through the biggest change I think that any one of us have lived through in our lifetime, or certainly I can remember, you guys have done extremely well. And congratulations again, Oatly, the winner of this year's Brand of the Year award for BevNet's Best of 2020 awards. Mike, thanks so much for chatting with us. Best of luck in the future. And again, congratulations.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.